The two most popular headrests for the Aeron chair are going to be made by Atlas and Engineered Now. But which company produces the best headrest for you? In today's video, we're going to take a close look at the Atlas suspension versus the Engineered Now H3 and H4 so that you can easily know which is the best fit for your needs. Hey guys, it's Ryan with BTOD.com. I've spent quite a bit of time bringing in Aeron headrests, reviewing them, testing them, making some videos for you guys. We've done quite a few reviews and I've done a list of the best 6 Aeron headrests. And of that list, my opinion is that the Atlas and Engineered products are going to be the best among the products that I've tested. And so I thought it would be good to kind of pit them against each other in this head-to-head comparison so that you can just see how they stack up against one another. So I have the Atlas suspension against the Engineered H3 and H4. The reason that we need 2 headrests from Engineered Now against the one for Atlas is because Engineered Now has headrests designed for different heights. The H3 is going to be for shorter people, the H4 is for taller people, whereas the Atlas suspension works for people of all heights. So that's why I will be talking about 2 headrests from Engineered Now and 1 from Atlas in this comparison. So first we're going to get into the pricing and the policies that you get from both companies. When looking at the Atlas suspension, this is going to cost $179.95, which is going to be the most expensive Aeron headrest that we have tested. Compared to the Engineered Now, priced at $149.95, you are going to save a little bit of money if you do decide to go with the Engineered Now product. When looking at the warranty, Engineered Now is also going to have a bit of an advantage here. They offer a full coverage for 2 years on their products, whereas Atlas is going to give you 1 year of coverage with 90 days on the upholstery. When looking at the returns process, you're also going to have a slight advantage from Engineered Now. They do allow a 30-day return policy. They will pay for the return shipping and give you a full refund. Compared to the return policy from Atlas, you do get 30 days to try it and they will give you a full refund, but you'll be responsible for that return shipping charge, probably somewhere between 15 and 30 bucks, depending on where you live and how far you have to ship it. I found the assembly process to be very easy on both products. It's very straightforward, good instructions. I will say that the Engineered product did take me around 10 minutes compared to the 2 minutes on the Atlas, and that's just because you do need to do some more tension settings, popping off some caps and cranking that down to get it to perform to the best of its ability. So it will take you a few extra minutes, but not something that's going to be a deal breaker for most people, in my opinion. The next area that we're going to take a look at is going to be the build quality. Now, I do feel that both of these products are going to be the most well-built headrests that I've tested thus far for the Aeron chair, but I will also say that I feel that there is a pretty noticeable step up in quality when going from Engineered Now to Atlas. When we look at the Atlas headrest, this is a product that is made in the USA by a team of people that used to work for Herman Miller. It's a very well-designed product. The materials match the Aeron, the same mesh as the Aeron. So overall, the quality is going to match the Herman Miller Aeron chair, not just from an aesthetic standpoint, the looks, but also the quality of the components that you're getting. This is not going to be quite the same with the Engineered Now product. This is a product that is made in China, and it will look very similar to the Aeron aesthetically. The mesh matches the color, the plastic matches the color, but it's not going to be the exact same materials. The mesh is a little bit lower quality than the pellicle that we see on the Aeron chair. So both of them are going to be high-end products in the Aeron chair headrest category, but I do think that the Atlas is a pretty decent step up from the Engineered Now from an overall quality standpoint. The next thing that I want to touch on is going to be the aesthetics of the headrest, the way that they look on the chair. Now, this is kind of piggybacking off the build quality. I do feel that the build and the materials are going to be better on the Atlas, but from a pure aesthetic standpoint, the Engineered Now product probably looks a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner than the Atlas because it does not have the big bulky metal design off the back. There's a lot of plastic and a lot of metal behind the Aeron chair. You can see it from the front, you can see it when you turn it around when using the Atlas headrest. The design from Engineered Now is much more minimalistic. It resembles the design of the Aeron much more closely, and it's not going to be as much of an eye-catching design if you flip the chair around as the Atlas product. So just from a pure look standpoint, I'm going to have to give the edge here a little bit to the Engineered Now just because of the lack of the bulkiness of the product. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is going to be the adjustments on both headrests. First, looking at the Atlas, you're going to get height, depth, and tilt adjustment. And the way that this is designed, it gives you massive ranges for all 3 adjustments. And this is why Atlas only needs 1 product for their entire height range compared to the 2 products from Engineered Now. Another big difference is that Atlas, because of the way that they designed their headrest, has all of their adjustments completely independent of one another, whereas the pivot system that Engineered Now uses does not always afford you the ability to put your headrest in an exact location. It does have 3 different adjustments, height, and then 2 different pivot points, which gives you a lot of range, more so than any other headrest that I've tested aside from the Atlas. But because you have 2 pivot points and 2 points where it can bend from, there are some positions that you cannot get the headrest to be in, unlike the Atlas. So overall, in terms of the amount of adjustability that you're going to get, I have to give the advantage to the Atlas here. Another thing that I want to touch on is that one of the biggest problems with headrest adjustability is that they are not very solid. We see this on a lot of headrests from a lot of manufacturers, whether they move and wiggle or whether they tilt while you're moving or slide around when you're rocking back and forth. This is going to be one of the biggest problems with headrests. This is not going to be a problem on the Atlas because you can crank down on all of the adjustments so tightly that it will not move. If you recline, if you shift, if you rock, whatever you're doing, I found it very solid, the most solid headrest I've ever tested. I did not get the same experience from the Engineered Now just because of the adjustment style. There are some wiggling components and I could not get it to hold its exact position if I did full reclines or if I moved around and intentionally tried to get it to move, unlike the Atlas headrest. The last thing that we're going to touch on is going to be the comfort of these headrests. Now, I did find these headrests to be the most comfortable headrests out of the headrests that I tested. I did find the Atlas to be a bit more comfortable just because the mesh is a little bit higher end and the adjustability did afford me to use it in a few extra positions that I could not necessarily get with the Engineered Now product. One thing that I will say is that because of my height, I needed to use the H3. The H3 has quite a bit different shape and design from the H4, also from Engineered Now. And one thing that I experienced with the H3 is that it was very constricting to use. It felt like I was in a headrest and not simply resting on top of it. And it was very, very noticeable when I used headphones because if I would simply turn my head a tiny bit, I could feel the headrest hitting my headphones and it would make a weird sound and it was very annoying to use. And so I could not use the H3 with my headphones and I did not like using it for an extended period of time. I actually found the H4 to be a bit more comfortable, but it was kind of on the tall side for me. So from a pure comfort standpoint, I think that the Atlas compares similarly to the H4. I found the H4 to be pretty comfortable, Atlas slightly more comfortable, but my experience with the H3 was not as good. I think the Atlas is a big upgrade to the H3. So if you're on the shorter end, and you're looking for the most comfortable headrest, I'd probably steer towards the Atlas. If you're taller, either option would probably work fine for you. So just to summarize the video here for you quick, I do feel that the Engineered Now products and the Atlas products are going to be your best options for putting a headrest on your Aeron chair, whether it's a classic or a remastered version. The Atlas is going to be a bit more expensive. You're going to save some money with the Engineered Now product. You also get a better return policy and a better warranty with Engineered Now. It is also my opinion that the aesthetics and the look of the headrest are going to be a bit better than the Atlas because you're avoiding that bulky design with the extra bar down the back. But I will say that I do feel that you are getting definitely $30 of additional value by upgrading to the Atlas because of the build quality of the components and because of the massive adjustability that you do get with the product. So I feel that they're both good options, just depends on what you value more in your next headrest, and that will decide what you go with. And that's going to conclude our comparison of the Atlas suspension against the Engineered Now H3 and H4 headrests. If there's anything in this video that I missed, make sure to leave a comment or reach out to us. And as always, I really appreciate you liking the video, hitting that subscribe button so that you know when we have our next piece of Aeron content. Thanks a lot for watching.